How many times have you heard people say, listen to your gut? Your gut is always right. Your inner intuition always knows what's best for you. And how many times in life have you ignored your gut instinct in favor of a decision that is more logical or rational? And have you ever regretted making a decision where you ignored your gut? I really wanted to dive deep into this topic today because I've been doing a lot of reflecting recently on my journey here in Italy. And there have been so many times where I have listened to my gut instinct over reasoning and rationality to the point where people around me sometimes just do not understand the decisions that I make. But you see, I really believe that as human beings, we are a very analytical and logical species. We like to try to make sense of everything around us. And yet, when we talk about our gut instinct or our inner intuition, this is something that we cannot really rationalize because it literally makes no sense. It's like a person being offered their dream job on paper. So logically, everything is present in this particular job role that they could ever have asked for. And yet their gut instinct, they had this inner feeling, which is saying, don't accept it. It's not what it seems. Like, how can you rationalize that inner feeling in a moment, in a situation like that? The truth is you can't. Yet I have really learned to listen inwards and trust my gut instinct, even more so in recent years. And it has never, ever let me down. So when it came to my decision as to where to live in Italy, that decision was based on a gut instinct, on an inner feeling, an inner connection, not on anything logical. Because let's face it, I come from London and a lot of people have questioned my decision as to why, coming from London, I would choose to move to the south of Italy, of all places, but especially to a city that at that point wasn't very well known, Salerno. Why would I choose to move there when I've got the likes of Milan or North Italy to play with? Well, the reality was this: it was an inner feeling, an inner connection. The time that I spent living in Salerno, those 4 weeks that I spent doing a language exchange with an Italian family, really helped me to feel this connection for Salerno. And I have never, ever regretted my decision to move there. And I've never regretted my decision to live in South Italy. Like, South Italy tests me, but I actually think it's the test that I need. It's like I saw this quote the other day, but it was connected to animals, to dogs in particular. And it said something like, you don't get the dog you want, you get the dog you need. And I actually feel the same way about where I live in Italy. I'm meant to have these challenges and the testing situations because I need them. They're helping me to grow. I mean, honestly, I've undergone some of the biggest personal growth moments ever from living here in South Italy. And so I really do believe that that was the reason why I was meant to live in this particular part of the country. And, you know, it's not even just this, it's also the fact that in Salerno, I truly believe you get to experience what Italy is all about. There's like a heart, soul, and vibrancy that in some parts of Italy, I think can sometimes be lost. And so, I'm super happy as well because today, the 11th of July, the airport in Salerno finally opens to commercial flights. Like, this is massive because finally I feel like Salerno is getting put firmly on the map and it's opening up and becoming more accessible for people to reach, which in my opinion is only ever a good thing because it really is a gem in the south of Italy and I really want more people to discover it. I don't believe it's going to become overrun to the point that Amalfi is, for example, because people are drawn more traditionally to that particular part of Italy. But I think that people are going to naturally discover this city and realize that actually there's a lot more going on here than you'll find in Amalfi and along the Amalfi Coast itself. And, if you're curious to visit Salerno yourself this year or very soon, why not check out the digital travel guide that I created for Salerno? Because today, the 11th of July, is the last day that you can get 10% off. by following the link in the show notes below. You will go through to the page and see exactly what this travel guide has to offer. It literally tells you everything from what to see and do, where to eat, insider tips, as well as an exclusive YouTube video that is only accessible through the guide. And I created this guide with 4 years of experience of having lived in that city, as well as recently returning this year, just to make sure that my recommendations were still as good as they were in the past. And yeah, it's a great resource. So if you're heading to Salerno soon, go follow the link in the show notes and check out the guide for yourself. But essentially, Salerno was the perfect city for me to move to. And I felt that connection and listened to it, and I never regretted it. And I really believe it's not just for places and situations that you can have kind of intuitive thoughts and feelings. It can also be for people. Now, I'm a very direct person. I'm straightforward. I tell it to you how it is, which if you follow my YouTube channel, you will know I'm not afraid to tell you the reality of life here in South Italy, even though I know it triggers a lot of people because they only want to believe the fairy tale. But I know that my audience really respects the fact that I will educate you on what life is like here, so that actually you can come and enjoy it here rather than start complaining because it doesn't live up to your expectations, you know? And the fact is that I'm pretty much the same with people. I can't fake how I feel towards a person. And I actually saw a really funny, I can't remember if it was a reel on Instagram or a YouTube short, but it was one of those short form videos. And it was a couple that was sitting, I think they were at a party or they were watching some kind of an event. And the woman's face was a picture. Like you could tell immediately that she was so like unimpressed with what she was looking at. And the words literally were like, POV, your wife's face is like subtitles. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, I literally cannot hide how I feel about someone, particularly if I don't get good vibes or good energy and I think something's a little bit off with them. I always listen to my gut. And this can be difficult sometimes because there have been many moments where I don't get a good feeling about someone, yet that person is very popular, has lots of kind of friends, and, you know, a lot of people seem to like that person. Yet I just get a vibe that something's not quite right. And usually I'm right. And people basically discover this later on. And so, you know, it's not always easy to follow your gut because other people don't understand it. And other people maybe think you're crazy to do X over Y or follow a particular path when, you know, logic and rational thinking should take you somewhere else. But I really want to encourage you in this episode to listen more to your gut instinct. It's not an easy skill to develop. You've really got to sit with yourself when you're making decisions, when you're assessing situations, and you've got to kind of listen to your body. How do you feel about something? How does your body feel? Do you feel relaxed? Is there a little bit of tension somewhere in your body? If so, why? Why is there that tension? What is the problem? And I really think if we listened more to our gut instinct, we would make better decisions and we would have fewer regrets in life as well. Because I really believe a lot of regrets are not just because of inaction, but also because you don't listen to your gut and you make decisions that later on you wish you hadn't made, you know? So, this is the purpose of today's episode. I want to say to you, listen to your gut more, even if what you decide to do is completely different to what people around you think or feel about a situation. Even if it seems like you are the only person that has a bad vibe about another individual, if your gut is telling you something, listen to it always. Don't take everything at face value. I think that's the biggest mistake sometimes people make. They do take things at face value, especially if it's presented in a really logical and rational way. Sit with your feelings a little bit more. And I really think that they can help to guide you on the right path in life. I'll see you in the next episode.